Hello beautiful people, let's bake agege bread in a pot without an oven. Yes, it's possible. We'll start by greasing a bread pan with butter. This always helps the bread to come out easily after baking. And in my bowl, I added in water and I also brought in the yeast and sugar. And we're going to mix all this to combine properly. It's important you note that it's the yeast that will help your bread to rise. So make sure you have an active yeast. If you're not sure, please cover this and allow it to sit for 5 minutes. You should see some foamy signs. I brought in oil and a little nutmeg powder. For flavoring, you can decide to use milk flavor or use both. You also mix this to combine properly. I came in with the bread flour and salt. And we'll start mixing this to form a shaggy dough. We'll not be adding milk and egg to this bread recipe because milk and egg has no business in agege bread. I'll come in with my fingers. Just make sure that all the dry flour is absorbed into the mixture. I'll transfer this to the work table for easier work, and I have my scraper handy for cleaning the work surface when it gets messy. And we'll start kneading this. We'll knead this between 5 to 7 minutes depending on how fast you are with hand kneading. If you have a stand mixer, you can also use that for this. You'll knead it till it becomes very soft and fluffy, and we'll turn this into a ball shape. And in my bowl, I added in oil. This will help the dough not to stick when we are proofing it. And I brought in the dough, and we're going to cover this and allow this to rest and rise between 40 minutes to 1 hour. If you live in the cold regions, please send this to a warm place to proof. I'll allow mine to sit on the counter here, and mine has risen so well. I spread out a little flour on my work table and I brought in the dough, and we're going to deflate all the bubbles in this dough. Someone has jokingly asked, why allow the dough to rise and then deflate all the bubbles in it? It is what it is in bread making. Every endeavor has a procedure and bread making has its own process. So with my hands, I'm extending this to the size of my bread pan, and we're going to start folding and shaping this dough. Observe what I'm doing. I'm tucking it in so that it wouldn't have lots of holes when it's baked. And when we get to the edges, I'm going to pinch this tightly and flip it to the other side. And we're going to send it to our greased bread pan. You can also grease your pan with oil or baking spray. And I will cover this again and allow it to rest and rise for 30 minutes. But keep an eye on it because this time we'll not allow it to fill the pan because we are covering it with the pan cover. If it fills the pan, this will be very hard or almost impossible to cover. Now let's go and bake with the pot. We are not using high heat to bake, we are using very low heat. This is the pot I'll be using to bake this. I brought in the stove stand. If you do not have a stove stand, you can bring in sand or salt or empty containers. That will give you an elevation for your bread pan. We'll place this in and cover the pot tightly, and we'll preheat this like we'll preheat an electric oven. My pot cover does not have any hole vent because we'll need all the heat intact to bake. And after 3 minutes, please wear your protective gloves because this is very hot at this time. And I brought in the bread pan, and we'll cover this and bake for 25 minutes still on very low heat. And we're not opening and closing this pot at intervals. After 25 minutes, we're going to flip this to the other side so that the other side of the bread will also bake to perfection. We'll cover and bake tightly again. Our bread is ready. You could already perceive the aroma, and we'll take this out from the pot. I want to show you something. Here is my pot. It's not burnt. I've done this many times and my pot never gets burnt. Here is our bread. We're going to quickly take it out of the bread pan before it starts sweating. When it sweats, it's not going to come out easily. And to know if your bread is well baked, when you tap on it, it's going to make an olo sound. There is nothing really you can bake at home even if you do not have an oven. I always say that homemade recipes are the best and every meal is possible in your kitchen. Imagine adding akara or fried egg in between this. You could already tell how delicious this is. I hope you learned a thing or more from this video. Remember, a glory homemaker will give you value for your time. Enjoy your bread. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.